to the Hallmarkies podcast. We are here wishing you Merry Christmas for the last time in this will be airing on New Year's Day, actually. So the last time coming in 2021, 2020. We are very excited. We have our last batch of recaps, non-Hallmark. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Amy's here.
Hey guys.
Amy, how are you doing?
Fantastic.
Very good. I hope you had as good a Christmas as possible under this crazy year.
I hope you did as well.
Yes, I did. It was kind of ironic for me because the last probably 5 years, I've actually been alone on Christmas Day. Because I've always been celebrating it either a little bit after or a little bit before, because my parents have been visiting the grandkids in different states. And so with everything with COVID and everything, I actually got to spend Christmas Day with my parents. I was like, this is very unusual. Like, it's just ironic that the year of isolation is the one year that I actually spend with family on Christmas.
See, that's the thing that I thought was funny too, is everyone was like complaining they couldn't see their family, but all of my family lives out of state. So like it was always just the four of us anyways on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't any different for us. The holidays really haven't been any difference for us because it's always just been us. Every like the past couple years, like all my other families moved either out of state or like my other aunts and uncles have grandkids and stuff now. So they always spent Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving with their grandkids. They didn't spend it with us anymore. So
I think maybe the biggest difference this year is like we didn't have a church party or you know, some of those other kinds of things that I would have normally gone to. I usually go to Christmas Carol every year at a local theater. I went and saw it this year at the movie theater. And don't worry, there was only 5 people in a massive auditorium. I was fine. So that was really cool to get to do, but it's just different to those like group experiences that you normally have around the holidays.
Yeah, I really missed because we couldn't have winter parties at school with the kids. And so like I really missed, because the kids at school, like and at the elementary school, they get so happy decorating their cookies or like you know, coloring their coloring sheets and stuff, and it's really fun. The winter parties are always really fun on the last day before break, but couldn't do that this year. But yeah, I miss that because the kids always look so cute. Like the kindergartners normally have little headbands with reindeer on them and stuff. So
yeah, that's true. I think kids really felt it, and teenagers have really felt it all year, I think. I mean, especially not having graduation and you know, just teenagers especially want to gather.
I mean, well, but even me in college, I mean, I didn't get to graduate in May, and technically I'm supposed to graduate with my graduate degree again in this May, and I'm not going to get a graduation ceremony for this either. So, yeah.
It's like, oh man, but good news, one of my very good friends, Camille, she's a nurse. She got her vaccination this week. So there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's I just hope that now at least somebody that is a good friend of mine has gotten the vaccine. Yay.
Yeah, I have a couple aunts that are nurses that have gotten in the past week or two, and so it's really cool. So I'm hoping like this time next year, this episode, we'll be doing this last Christmas episode next year, and we'll be like, oh yeah, things have been back to normal for a couple months now, type of thing. You know? I'm hoping that's what it'll look like when we're making this episode next year.
I hope so too. Well, from what I read, not to get too down this
rabbit hole,
that's the word, is I read that the CDC is hoping that most people will be able to have been vaccinated by July, that's sort of that last phase is March through July. And obviously it probably won't work out quite that well, but there's, I think, pretty good cause to figure that by Christmas will be.
Yeah, my hope is for the next holiday season. So I'm hoping like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas next year is my like ideal timeline for me at least. But
I'm hopeful. My optimistic date is that maybe I might be able to get it in March. That's kind of my optimistic projection, but you know, we'll just see. We'll see what happens. And in the meantime, we got new New Year's, new movies coming up.
New things to enjoy.
Yeah. And I hope y'all listened to our preview with Greg McBride and are talking about why you were sleeping. It was so fun this week. And for January, for Hallmarkies podcast, we are going to be doing a lot of list episodes. And then we're going to be doing a bunch of list episodes. We're going to have like the best of Hallmark Christmas, best of Hallmark non-Christmas, best of non-Hallmark Christmas. It's going to be really fun. And we're excited about that, but it's kind of a bit of a lighter month.
Be a little relaxing.
Yeah, for us. And so we're enjoying it. But we have one more episode to talk about Christmas movies. And Lifetime was not kind to us Christmas week. These were I mean, I give these movies a lot of leeway. I mean, most of my film critic friends are like, what are you doing? Why are you watching those movies? But so, I mean, but even me, well, these movies were terrible. And there was a few bright spots in them, but it was a rough batch. And it was really just, it felt like Christmas movie dumping ground. Yeah. And you think that since they were doing a week more movies than Hallmark, you would think that they would try to kind of maybe distinguish themselves, maybe save some really good ones, but no, that is not the path they chose. They were really bad. So we decided, we're going to talk about these movies probably pretty quickly, but I always hate doing a super negative show, and so we decided to talk about the 12 Dates of Christmas, which you can find on Disney Plus, and something that we both enjoy to end off the episode. So let's dive in. Let's talk about these films. And so we'll start out with Spotlight on Christmas. This stars Tori Anderson and Victor Zink Jr. It is actually directed by Ali Liebert. I'll start Ali Liebert. Yep. And it is dumped before Christmas. Famous Hollywood actress Olivia secretly returns to her hometown to eat cookies and avoid the press. Instead, she has to step up to take the starring role in her own life, realizing that home is where the heart is. So, Amy, what overall did you think about this one?
Oh, goodness. Okay. I'm glad Rachel went first and said that this was a bad lineup of movies, because this movie, I wanted it to be good. But really, honestly, it was so repetitive, and it was something we've seen before so many times.
Like literally 3 days before.
Yeah, literally.
In A Christmas Break was the exact same movie, except for gender swapped. Yeah, is about a Hollywood celebrity coming in to direct the town play. I personally prefer Christmas Break to this. I thought that, I don't know, I just thought the script was better. I thought it was a better movie. This is probably my favorite of the batch, though, to be honest. I mean, this is nothing special, but I would watch it. Yeah, it's probably my favorite of the group.
Yeah,
but she was kind of annoying to me. I didn't really like her that much. And I like Victor Zink Jr. I think he's good.
Yeah, he did a good job. I do want to say, though, the little sister in this movie, I really enjoyed her. I think she did a good job.
She was cute.
She was adorable.
The mom looked like she was the same age as Tori Anderson.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, I was a little, and it took me a second to realize. I was like, okay, she's all sad about her dad's truck, but her dad is right there. And it took me a little bit to realize, oh, her mom is remarried. They didn't really explain that. And it was a little confusing.
Yeah. And what did you think of that weird whole section where she goes to get sweetened condensed milk, and she goes to like a gift shop. It was not a grocery store. And I'm sure that had something to do with COVID, because there must be some reason they couldn't have filmed in a grocery store or something like that, because it was so weird. I was like, why would you buy sweetened condensed milk at this gift shop?
And 2 cans of condensed milk for $14.
Well, see, somebody corrected me on that, though, because she also bought the hat.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that.
Yeah, she bought the hat.
But I
Because
was
I said that on Twitter.
I was like, how expensive is condensed milk?
No, but this is like must be fancy condensed milk. But I don't. It was just.
Like,
It was really. It was a gift shop. I think it
okay.
literally was a gift shop that they were shooting
So
in.
my thought was like they're in such a small town that it was like maybe a general store type of thing.
But it didn't even like I just have to believe that they had to shoot in there because of COVID. That the grocery stores were like off, because of
Also,
everything. And
why was the condensed milk surrounded by like homemade jams? I will never know.
it's so weird. That was strange. And yeah, so she volunteers to coach the play. All the students just love her. And did you feel like she was trying to be Wonder Woman or trying to be Captain Marvel?
Oh,
That
I
they
was
were
getting like a Supergirl vibe type of thing,
Supergirl.
but it was like movies though, I guess. So I guess like Captain Marvel or Wonder Woman. I don't know.
I think they were trying to do Captain Marvel.
Okay.
I think, but
I don't know.
but they were I forget what they called her.
It had something to do with like
Character.
space and
It was like Captain Crusade or something. I can't remember what the
something like
word
that.
was, but it made me think of Captain Marvel.
Mhm.
And it was so weird because Kimberly Sested was in like 2 shots of this movie.
Yeah. So
what on earth?
now that I know that Ali Liebert directed it, isn't she friends with Kimberly Sested? Okay.
But why wouldn't you have Kimberly Sested be the paparazzi? Like, because there was a main paparazzi character. Why wouldn't you have her be that character? Why would you have her be just like in literally 2 shots?
I don't know. Maybe Kimberly was like, "Hey, I can come on set for a day," and like, Allie was like, "Oh, cool, let's do these. You can do this 2 scenes for a day." I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it does have. You assume it does have something to do with their friendship, but still, it was kind of bonkers. It was like, what? It was distracting, and so that was weird. But all the students love her except for the one student who's super grumpy, and Jack is his name.
Mm-hmm.
And she basically kind of talks to him, and they both have dead dads, so they can or dead parents, so they can bond. And so I did think when he makes her dinner, it was a little bit cute.
Mm-hmm.
So he makes her dinner and he finds the recipe for the North Pole pie that she loves, that her
like
dad,
her grandma's or something,
and that her dad would make. So that was nice. And you have Matthew James Dowden playing her ex in this, which I love him. He was such a great interview. So I was always happy whenever he gets work. And he plays her ex. He's a cowboy and he's a jerk. He kind of stages this kiss for the paparazzis. And then she makes a deal with the paparazzi lady. And then the play goes on, and then they do a great job. And then her and Victor Zink Jr. make up, but she still goes back to Hollywood, and then he shows up on her doorstep, and it's Merry Christmas and everything.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I mean, I guess I can't remember what I gave Christmas Break. I think maybe 3, or 2.75, something like that. I would give this. I'm gonna give it. Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, I'll just be nice. I'm just gonna give it a flat 2. Yeah.
I will give it a 2.5.
Okay.
I do think it's the best out of this group. So, okay.
Hey everybody, I just want to take a second from this episode today to tell you about the Hallmarkies Podcast Awards. Yes, we're doing another Hallmarkies Podcast Awards, the second annual awards will be held later this month in January, but right now you can go vote. If you are listening to this between January 1st of 2021 to January 8th of 2021, you can go into the description, click the voting link, and vote for your favorite things from Hallmark Channel in 2020. So go click that link, go vote, and you have until January 8th, 2021 at midnight Pacific Standard Time to vote, and there will be more information about when that will be airing and all that fun stuff in the weeks ahead. So go down in the description and vote. Back to the episode.
Then we have the Christmas High Note. And this movie was so strange. I felt like this stars Jamie Luner and Johnny Mesner, and it's after being stood up by her partner Brad, Rachel soon meets Michael and his teenage daughter Sophia. During Christmas Eve pageant rehearsals, Sophia finds herself challenged to hit the high note in her solo of Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Rachel offers to coach Sophia's performance and discovers a new interest in Michael. This movie, I just thought was very strange. I thought almost every choice, I'm like, that was a weird thing to say. Why did they say that? Why did they do that? That was a weird choice. That was a strange casting decision. What was going on? Pretty much all around. I thought it was pretty poorly made, as the ADR, some of the other things going on that were weird. I thought the whole relationship between her, Rachel, and Michael was kind of strange, and then she also is having this relationship with Brad, and I don't know, I did not like it at all.
It was not good. The dad character kind of confused me because it was almost like he was rooting for the guy who consistently stood his daughter up.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would you, like, they've been together for 4 years and it's a consistent thing of him standing her up. Why would you be all for your daughter being with him? Like, it just, yeah. And then the whole side romance with him and Brad's mom. And I was just like, this is weird.
Yeah. And there was zero chemistry between these people at all. And I don't know, they were really competitive against each other, like that whole bake sale thing. And I just wasn't, I guess it was supposed to be enemies to lovers, but I didn't feel it. And I don't know, it just felt really like one minute they were kind of hating each other, and then the next minute they would be practically making out with each other. Like, it was just a weird movie. I didn't think it worked at all. It was pretty much unwatchable.
I was very confused the entire time.
Yeah.
The characters didn't make any sense.
Like, why is she helping out? She seems to like music at some points and then not like music at other points. Sometimes she wants to sing, other times she doesn't want to sing. I don't know. I just didn't like it at all.
Okay, I honestly fell asleep towards the end of this movie. But did she want to be a vet or be a musician?
Yeah, I was confused. And then because her dad owns the veterinarian clinic, and she's kind of mad at him. She wants him to retire.
Well, she's mad at him for selling it, but she also doesn't want to take it over.
Yeah.
And I'm confused.
Like, you work too hard.
Yeah, exactly. You work too hard, but also don't sell your clinic. I don't want to take it over, though. Okay, well then what do you want him to do?
Yeah, and at times it felt like, is this trying to be a faith-based film? There were scenes with the pastor and some other stuff, and then they would have scenes where they're drinking, getting drunk, and singing karaoke, and I don't know, it was just really weird.
Yeah, it was a weird movie. I gave it a 1.
Like, why was she spending so much time with Brad if the whole point of the movie is for her to end up with Michael? Were they trying to do like a love triangle?
And Brad came in so late into the movie too. Like, we didn't see the actor.
Yeah, he stands her up and then comes back and they get drunk and go karaoke together. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's almost a generous one, if that's possible. It was really, really bad. So
zeros. So
so yeah, 1. Okay, so then we have Christmas at the Castle, This is also called Christmas in the Highlands, I believe, at some places.
And
And this stars Danjeanette and Brooke Burfitt. And it is a New York sales manager is sent to the remote Scottish Highlands at Christmas to acquire a limited edition perfume from a dashing earl preparing for his annual ball, and falls in love instead. This movie was seriously hurt by the fact that it was very poorly made. And I have a high tolerance compared to most of my film critics pals. The ADR was really bad. The sound design was really bad. It was hard to hear sometimes what characters were saying. The music was way too loud. It just, all those things, it made it pretty much unwatchable for me.
It was a bad movie watching experience.
It was.
And aside from that, also the main character she was so frustrating.
Yes, she was.
And I just didn't understand any of the reason she was doing anything. And also, no person is gonna be like, oh yeah, I make films for a living, and then not know how to use a camera. Like how did he not go, yeah, no, you don't know how to turn that thing on, you're not a filmmaker?
Yeah, there was that, and then the whole perfume thing, and it's like, what is happening here?
Why? Yeah, it just, and then all of a sudden she's hanging out at the castle all of a sudden now.
Yeah, and they were like in and out of accents. At one point it's like trying to be they're filming. At another point she's like, after this about the perfume. I thought you could just feel the lack of budget. Her dress it looked too big for her. It didn't look like it fit right. Like I said, the ADR was really, really bad.
The audio, it just killed it. Yeah.
And there's not much I can really say to praise this film.
There is audio from me on the podcast last year saying at least 2 or 3 times that I wanted this to come out in America because I wanted to see it. I would like to retract those statements.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got to say.
Okay. All right. Well, I give it 1 as well. It was just too poorly made.
It's going right up there with that Marcus Rosner one for me.
Oh, yeah. It really is.
And the thing is, I love Danjeanette so much. Yeah. He's so great. Paris, Wine, and Romance, awesome. I love the bold type. He's great in that. But but like, oh goodness, this movie, I was just like, oh gosh,
it was rough. He couldn't save it, that's for sure. Right. So then we had My Sweet Holiday, and this is like My Chocolate Christmas or something like that. Other places.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this one is the girl from the city comes back, finds out that her parents want to retire from running their chocolate business, and she is very upset about this. And it seems like she's perfectly happy though in her life, so I don't know why she particularly cares so much if they sell the chocolate business to a perfectly nice person. But she gets assigned, even though she hasn't been there and hasn't been working there, she gets assigned to train the person who's then going to be buying the chocolate business, named Alex. This one, it stars Malone Thomas and Jason Burke. And so it's basically them doing a lot of chocolate stuff.
I mean, it looks delicious.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Delicious.
There's like they're planning the retirement party for her parents, and he has a daughter. And we find out that she quit culinary school and because she lost a gingerbread competition, so it ruined. And she gave up. And then he decides, for some reason, I couldn't quite figure out why he decided it was a good idea for them to make 100 gingerbread houses.
Yeah, the whole time I was like, they own a chocolate shop. It's their retirement party. Why don't they do a buffet of their chocolates?
Yeah.
of their like most favorite desserts over the years or something. Like, why are we doing gingerbread houses? Also, if I got a gingerbread house as a dessert at a party, I'd just take it home and look at it. Like, I wouldn't
eat. That's the thing in these Christmas movies, even on Hallmark, they always pretend that people eat gingerbread houses. No one eats a gingerbread house. First of all, the icing that you use for a gingerbread house is royal icing, which has no flavor and isn't good, but it sticks well. And so nobody wants to eat a gingerbread house. Like, they're too hard. I mean, unless you have a bad gingerbread house, but you don't want that candy. You don't want that. Like, it's gross. No one does that.
Yeah, exactly.
It was weird that they had like a petting zoo out in front of the store. I was like, wow, that's a new one.
I was like, what? Why?
I mean, they had absolutely no chemistry out of these two actors at all. And
the little girl was adorable. She did a good job.
Also, there's like a point where she thinks that Alex is dating who it turns out to be his sister, but I felt like it was too late in the movie for that to be a thing. You know, like, you've spent a lot of time together, you would know whether so and so had a sister.
Yeah, or
at that point.
Or he would have mentioned, like, I have a significant other of some point at some
right. Yeah.
Especially if like he's buying a business. If he had a significant other, I'm sure the significant other would want to see the business at some point. Like, yeah, just odd.
And so they make up in the end, and they decide they're going to be together and run the store 50-50, and there we go. But I don't know, this one, it was better than those other two we just talked about. Is this one your favorite of the group?
Or yeah, I'd have to say so, yes, just because it looked so delicious. That was about it.
I can see that. I would give this one, even though I liked Spotlight's a hair more, I would give this one probably 2.5 as well, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to give it a 2.5.
So then we had on own channel, we have My First Christmas. And this this stars Idara, Victor, Antonia Idara, Victor, Antonia Stewart. And it's given up for adoption and placed in foster care at a young age. Writer Hallie Downing receives the blessing of a lifetime when she is invited to spend Christmas in New Orleans with the biological family she never knew she had. So, yeah, she literally gets a packet in the mail from a lawyer saying, we need your DNA because we're trying to figure out this person's estate. You might be related to this person. And I guess she's been in a closed adoption, so I don't think that's how it would really go down, but who knows?
I think that can legally happen, but okay.
I don't think so. But and so she goes to visit, and the whole thing was just very strange. Like, she goes there and they have a separate place setting still left out for the dead dad who's lost, and the drama between everybody. The one sister is married to a woman who nobody knows that she's gay, which was just a weird plot line, I felt like. And there's people thinking of going into business together. There's all kinds of drama. And there's this whole thing with this ugly Christmas sweater party, and that she wears to this party, and then she feels tricked into the party. I don't know. It kind of lost me after a while, to be honest. They get upset with her when they find out that she has a pen name and that she's writing all these books, which I didn't really understand why they were upset with her. And then there's this whole long segment where they eat pizza and ice cream, and So then it seems like it was just very like 1 minute it felt like huge drama and conflict, and the next minute it was like party. And I was just like, what?
Well, I'm glad I skipped that one then, I guess.
They get in a fight and she goes to the hotel and she leaves the house because she's upset. And then this guy that she's kind of been interested in, Devin, he comes over and he finds her and he says, we'll make it all work. You know, we're a family. And everybody apologizes at the end for being mean. And I don't know. I just felt like it was very up and down. And I didn't really like any of the characters. I didn't really think it was a good movie. So I would give this one I'll give it a 1.5.
Okay.
So I guess just a little, maybe a half. Yeah, I'll give it a 1.5. It was a rough week for TV Christmas movies.
Yeah, it was yikes.
Yeah. So let's talk about a good one we like. So the 12 Dates of Christmas. Like I said, you can watch this on Disney Plus right now.
Old classic ABC Family movie.
Yeah. And I'd seen this, I think, once before, but it had been a while.
Yeah, so, my mom and I watch this like almost every year. We really enjoy this one.
So it was fun to revisit it. This was from 2011. And stars Amy Smart in the lead role. And then Mark Paul Gosselaar as the leading man. And it's a play on your time loop stories that we've seen a lot before. But basically, she ends up experiencing this Christmas date 12 times and is in this time loop. And at first, she starts out pretty selfish. She's very critical of her dad's new wife and named Sally, and she's kind of critical of her dad. She's critical of pretty much everybody, and she's not taking this date seriously, so she kind of just shrugs it off. And then she's kind of obsessed with her ex named Jack. And then things start to happen and she gets hit in the head and she gets sprayed by the perfume lady at the department store, and
she passes out.
And then this is the day that she ends up experiencing 12 times. And one thing that was fun is Lara Miotta plays her BFF, her best friend, Nyoka, and I love her. I loved interviewing her. I think she's really funny, and I keep saying I think her and Cardi Wong should do a movie together. I think they would be so good.
Yes, definitely. Agreed.
And so, yeah, and you have Benjamin Ayres in here. Of course, we know from Hallmark.
Yep.
Later on. And so, what do you like about this movie? What's your favorite part?
This movie had such a great lineup as well. But I like the idea, and this like kind of goes back, like I've talked about this before in, I think when talking about like A Heavenly Christmas and stuff, is like the idea of stopping and learning about the things happening around you and experiencing the things happening around you. And that's what I like about this movie. It's like, oh, she just thought her neighbor was annoying, and so she had ignored her. She didn't know that she was by herself and just was kind of reaching out for some human connection. And then they ended up baking together and having fun. Or the person she walks by every year putting up a snowflake, like she didn't know that he was doing it as a gift for his girlfriend. Like the small things that she kind of like had walked past either every year or every day and kind of just ignored, like kind of being in her own world, she got to experience those things. And I really like that idea. And that's one of the reasons I love these time warp type of movies, because I think that's a really cool premise. I enjoy that.
Yeah, and if people can handle a little bit more mature content, it's an R rating. This year was Palm Springs on Hulu. It was another time loop romantic comedy.
Oh, really?
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, with Andy Samberg and Kristen Milioti. Like I said, it is R rated, so it does have some content. But it was really cute too, where she goes to this wedding. She ends up in his time loop, just experiencing this wedding every day over and over and over again. It's cute. And so it starts out, she, goes on the date, and she is kind of upset with him for ordering for her. What do you think about that? Would you be irritated if somebody ordered for you?
Probably not if I'd never met them before and they were like sitting alone by themselves for a little bit at the restaurant. I'd be like, okay, whatever. And like, I don't like particularly drink that much, and I don't really like beer, but at the same time, she kind of just like brushed it off type of thing, which was a little frustrating to me. And I might have at least like tried it to be nice, or like explained to him that, oh, I don't really drink alcohol, that instead of just kind of being like, yeah, no, I want my Chardonnay.
I mean, I couldn't, because I don't drink for religious reasons, but I think I wouldn't have the date in a bar to begin with. So it kind of sets the wrong. I think it's within reason for somebody to order a beer for you if you're meeting for a date in a bar. I think that's somewhat natural. So she's kind of upset with him. She wants to be with Jack. She leaves the date early to be with Jack, but Jack has a new girlfriend. And so, she's kind of frustrated, and she goes to her house with Sally and her dad. And Sally says, "Oh, you missed your chance. He's a good guy." And she's just kind of irritated about it. And so then she relives the day. So day 2, she tries to win over Jack, but he finds out that he's proposing to Nancy, and she completely blows Miles off. And she's really upset with him about when he says that he talks about his wife. He says, "You didn't tell Sally that you had a wife." And
she didn't even let him finish the sentence.
Right.
That's the thing. Yeah.
She should have known. She's in a Christmas movie. Should have known he's a hot widower. I mean, come on. That should be your go-to. Yes. So then day 3, this is when she gets to know her neighbor, as you said. And she's played by Jane Eastwood. And Jane Eastwood,
I love her.
Yeah. Well, see, for the most part, I love her, except she played Mrs. Hammond on the 1985 Anne of Green Gables, which is like one of my favorite things ever.
Oh, no.
And Mrs. Hammond was horrible. She was awful to Anne. And so whenever I see her, because she was in so many Christmas movies this season, she was in 3 or 4, a bunch. And so then to see her in this, I'm just like, Mrs. Hammond is everywhere. But yeah, no, she's really fun. She's really fun. She'd be somebody I think would be fun to interview, but I would have to ask her about playing Mrs. Hammond. She has 3 sets of twins, and that Anne has to take care of.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I've never watched Anne of Green Gables, like any of them before.
Oh, it's so good. To me, it's perfect. The original, not the sequel, Anne of Avonlea, is not as good, but the original Anne of Green Gables, Megan Follows, is, I think, perfect. I absolutely
she's a director now, right? Megan Follows is a pretty popular director now, right?
Yeah, she's done some When Calls the Heart and some other things. I love her, and I just love the original Anne of Green Gables. Anyway, she plays Mrs. Hammond in that, and she is horrible. But it's very sweet here. She gets to know her and why she's baking, and she's lost her husband, and she makes chocolate cherry chip bread. That sounded yummy.
Yeah, really, it did. I was like, oh, may I try some, please?
Yeah. So then day 4, she meets Jack in the jewelry store, and then she starts talking to Lee, who is the wife of the snowflake light person. And they hang out and they have a fun day together. And then she meets Miles, and she also sees Toby, who's waiting there for a blind date. I thought Toby was a little weird.
Yeah, a little bit at first. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, weird.
Sitting by himself. Okay. but yeah.
Yeah. So then day 6, she goes to the botanical gardens with her dad. She misses the date because she's baking with Margine and with Lee and Miyoko, and they're all there baking. So then 7th day, the Miles invites her to the hockey rink, and that's when she realizes that he works with the group home youth in there. And then day 8, Jack tells her that he's going to propose, but then that he was going to propose, but then she changed after her mother died. And it was,
I always found that part strange because like he said they'd barely been together a couple months when that happened and stuff, so I was like, okay, that's a little weird, but all right.
Yeah, I mean, everybody changes from when you experience trauma.
Exactly.
But she storms in on Jack's romantic weekend because she's worried that he didn't buy the ring because they ran into each other and it's going to ruin the whole timeline. So the space-time continuum, she gets scared. And she thinks that if he proposes, then that will break the chain of days.
Like
the loop.
She didn't realize that, like, oh, he can propose without a ring.
Yeah. And his Nancy, I guess, is just like, yeah, he did. He doesn't have a ring yet. And they're like, well, I guess you can stay here if you want. I was like, that was awkward.
Yeah.
So then day 9, she goes to the bar early, and then she gets to know Toby and gets to talk, because I guess Miles goes to the bar early so he won't eat too much when he's with her, which is probably pretty good dating strategy, I would say.
Odd, but okay.
Yeah. Do you think that they had pretty good chemistry, Amy Smart and Mark Paul Gosselaar?
Definitely thought they had really good chemistry and that they worked good together, and I feel like their dialogue, they worked off each other very well. Yeah. So I really enjoyed that because they worked so good together, in my opinion.
Me too. And then the 10th day, Kate gives Rich a new design so that he can propose to Lee. And then the 11th day, Kate helps Michael, who is one of Miles' students, and they reunite. And then the 12th day, Kate helps Rich to propose, introduces Margine to Jim and Toby to Miyoko, and she invites everyone to dinner, and so everything is going well, and they find Michael, they help everybody, and Miles says that he feels he has always known her. No, this is the 12th day. Yeah, the 12th day. He feels he has always known her whole life, and there we go, and that's the final day. Everything. So it was pretty cute. It really was. And they have chemistry. It's a nice supporting cast. It's a simple concept executed well. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
I really did.
And last thing I want to say, though, is one of my favorite parts of this movie, though, is throughout the different dates, how there's little things like 10 Lords a Leaping, the pizza truck, all these different like 12 things, and you see it throughout the movie. I think that's so cute.
Yeah, that was really cute. 3 French hens and there's a chicken. Yeah, that was really cute. I liked that too. So I give this 4 stars.
I agree, 4 stars.
Yeah, very fun. So let us know what you think of these movies. Were we too hard on them? Did you like them? Maybe somebody there is a big fan. And if you like 12 Dates of Christmas, like we do, let us know in the comments section or on Twitter. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And we did it! We finished!
Christmas!
Oh my
gosh! Complete!
100, including Dash and Lily, 110 movies reviewed on Hallmarkies podcast by yours truly.
That's great. That's awesome. Congratulations. I'm currently at like 48. So
It's pretty crazy. So yeah, let us know your thoughts. And like I said, we are going to be doing a bunch of lists episodes. So we'll be excited to share those with you coming up. And Amy, how can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, or Twitter or TikTok at It's Amy Craig. And if you want to go over to my YouTube channel right now, it's actually my 10-year anniversary today on YouTube. So you can go see a throwback of little Amy on YouTube on my channel if you want to check that out. So.
Oh, fun. Yeah. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm going to be doing best and worst lists and other stuff over there on my channel as well. So make sure you're checking out that. I would really appreciate it. And you can follow the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave us your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate that. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, which we have a really fun watch along coming up in January with actress Natalie Hall. And we're going to be watching Winter Princess. It's going to be really fun. We haven't got the date yet for it, but anyway, we have good stuff coming. So if you want to be a part of it, only $2 a month to join and be part of the Patreon. So check that out. We also have our merch store, which has tons of fun designs. And so thanks so much, everybody. And one last time, Merry Christmas. Yay. Woo.